Welcome to Gila's Talk. This is actually our first ever audio blog deep dive. And we're kicking things off with something I'm really excited about. We're going to be diving into the world of yoga and all the amazing things it can do for your body. We'll be using an article from a studio called 103 Cordova. It's called Discover the Incredible Benefits of Yoga for the Body. A lot of people think yoga is just about stretching and relaxation, but there's so much more to it.
Yeah, what's really cool about yoga is it goes way beyond just, touching your toes or finding a moment of zen. It really impacts your physical health in a profound way.
Okay, I'm intrigued. So what kind of impact are we talking about here?
Well, you can think of it as this holistic system that works on multiple levels. It's not just about flexibility, it's about integrating movement, breath work, and mindfulness to create this ripple effect. That benefits both your body and your mind.
So it's not just about flexibility then.
Right. The article actually talks about how yoga can build strength, improve balance, and even correct your posture.
That's fascinating. I have to admit, I've always thought of yoga as being mostly about flexibility. Let's break down some of these benefits a bit more. What about flexibility and range of motion? I know yoga is famous for that, but how does it actually work?
So different styles of yoga, like hatha and vinyasa, they use specific poses to target and lengthen your muscles and connective tissues.
Oh yeah, like downward dog and forward bends. Those are some of my favorites, especially after a long day at the computer.
Exactly. And by increasing your flexibility, you're actually reducing your risk of injuries because tighter muscles are more prone to strains and sprains, especially if you're active.
That makes sense. Even sitting at a desk all day can make my muscles feel so stiff. So yoga can help with that too.
Absolutely. Yoga can help alleviate that stiffness and keep your body moving more freely.
Okay, so we've talked about flexibility, but you mentioned strength building too. I have to admit that's not something I usually associate with yoga.
That's a common misconception. A lot of people think yoga is all about being bendy, but it can actually be surprisingly demanding because many poses require you to support your own body weight, which naturally builds strength.
So it's like a built-in resistance workout. What are some examples of poses that really build strength?
Well, think about holding plank pose. It engages your core, your arms, shoulders, and back. Then there are warrior poses, which work your legs and core, and even balancing poses like tree pose that require strength and stability.
That's so interesting. I like how it's not about isolating specific muscles like you might do with weights. It seems more like a full body approach.
Exactly. And that full body approach is actually really beneficial because it promotes balanced muscle development. And when your muscles are all working together harmoniously, it leads to healthier joints and reduces the risk of imbalances.
I never thought about it that way, but it makes a lot of sense. And speaking of balance, the article also mentioned that yoga can improve that as well. What's
Mhm.
the connection there?
Well, a lot of yoga poses, especially those focused on balance, like tree pose or eagle pose, they require a lot of concentration and control. You're constantly making tiny adjustments to maintain stability. And that process actually improves your proprioception, which is your awareness of where your body is in space.
So it's not just about standing on one leg. There's like a whole neurological element at play.
Right. And improving your proprioception can have some real-world benefits. You're less likely to trip and fall, and you'll likely see improvements in your coordination, whether you're playing sports or just navigating everyday life.
Yeah, I can definitely see how that would be helpful, especially as we get older. Now, I know the article also touched on posture. How does yoga help with that?
Well, let's face it, many of us spend hours hunched over computers or looking down at our phones, and that can lead to poor posture, which not only looks bad, but it can also cause pain and even long-term health problems.
Oh, I am so guilty of that.
Hmm.
What can we do to improve our posture through yoga?
Well, yoga helps you build awareness of your body alignment. Poses like mountain pose and cat-cow encourage you to lengthen your spine and engage the muscles that support good posture.
I can see how that would help. So is it just about holding those poses correctly, or is there more to it?
Well, consistency is key. It's like training your muscles to remember what good posture feels like. And with regular practice, you can actually retrain your body to hold itself in a healthier way.
So it's not a quick fix.
Ye-
It's about creating lasting change.
Exactly. And the benefits go beyond just looking better. Good posture can improve your breathing, reduce tension headaches, and even boost your confidence.
Wow, it sounds like yoga can address so many different aspects of physical health.
It really can. And we've only scratched the surface. The article also mentions a whole range of other benefits, from stress reduction and mood enhancement to improved sleep, and even immune system support.
That's incredible. Maybe we can delve into those other benefits a bit later.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to diving deeper into those aspects with you. It's fascinating how these yoga poses can target different areas of the body and create these incredible benefits. Earlier we touched on downward facing dog. What do you find most intriguing about that pose?
Downward dog.
Mm.
Oh, I always feel it in the back of my legs. Like my hamstrings always feel so much looser afterwards. But I'm curious, how does that pose actually work to improve flexibility?
It's all about the mechanics of the pose. When you're in downward dog, you're lengthening your entire posterior chain, which
Yeah.
includes your calves, hamstrings, and even the muscles along your spine.
So it's not just stretching one specific muscle.
Right. It's a multifaceted stretch that also opens up your shoulders and chest, which can be especially beneficial for people who spend a lot of time sitting. It kind of counteracts that hunched over posture.
That makes sense. I've even heard the downward dog can help relieve headaches. Is there any truth to that?
There is. It's believed that the inversion aspect of the pose, where your head is below your heart, can increase blood flow to the head, and that can help alleviate tension headaches and even promote relaxation.
Wow, that's amazing. It's like a natural remedy built into the pose.
Yeah.
What about forward bend? It seems like a pretty basic stretch, but I always find it so relaxing. What's going on there?
Forward bend, or Uttanasana, is deceptively simple, but it provides a deep stretch for your hamstrings, calves, and hips. It also helps to lengthen your spine, which can relieve tension in your back and neck.
I can see how that would feel really good,
Yeah,
especially if you're feeling stressed or tight.
exactly. And beyond the physical benefits, forward bend is known for its calming effect on the nervous system. It encourages a sense of surrender and release, which can help reduce anxiety and promote a feeling of groundedness.
Yeah, it's like you're literally folding inward and letting go of tension. Now, plank pose, that's one that always feels challenging, but also really empowering. Why is it considered such a powerhouse pose?
Plank pose is all about building core strength. When you're holding that straight line from head to heels, you're engaging your entire core, along with your arms, shoulders, and back. It's like a full body exercise disguised as a simple pose.
I can definitely feel it working. And a strong core is important for so many reasons, right?
Absolutely. A strong core supports your posture, improves your balance, and can even help prevent back pain. It's like the foundation of your physical strength.
So it's not just about getting six-pack abs, it's about functional strength that benefits your whole body.
Exactly. And what's interesting is that plank pose can also help improve your mental stamina. Holding that pose requires focus and determination, which can actually translate into other areas of your life.
That's a great point. It's like a mini meditation on perseverance.
Mm.
Speaking of challenges, warrior poses always make me feel so strong and graceful. What makes them so unique?
Warrior poses are all about building strength and stamina, particularly in your legs and core. They also challenge your balance and focus, which can help improve your coordination and body awareness.
I love how they make me feel both grounded and energized at the same time.
That duality is at the heart of warrior poses. They embody both strength and flexibility, grounding and expansion.
In tree pose, it's one of those poses that looks so simple,
Yeah.
yet it can be surprisingly tricky. What makes it so good for balance?
Tree pose requires you to find your center and maintain stability on one leg. It's a great way to improve your proprioception, which again is that sense of where your body is in space.
Yeah, I can definitely feel that working when I'm trying to stay still. I imagine it also strengthens your leg muscles.
Absolutely. It strengthens your thighs, calves, ankles, and even the muscles in your feet. But it also goes beyond the physical. Tree pose encourages focus and concentration, which can have benefits for your mental clarity and overall well-being.
It's amazing how these physical poses can have such a ripple effect on our minds as well. Now, mountain pose. It seems so basic, almost too simple to be effective. What's so special about just standing up straight?
Mountain pose is the foundation of all standing poses in yoga. It's about finding a sense of groundedness and alignment. And although it may appear simple, holding mountain pose correctly requires engagement of various muscle groups and attention to detail.
So it's more than just passively standing there.
Exactly. It's about actively engaging your core, lengthening your spine, and grounding through your feet. This can help improve your posture, increase your body awareness, and even create a sense of inner stillness.
I never thought about it that way. But it makes sense. It's like setting the stage for all the other poses.
Mhm.
We've talked about some of the more well-known poses. Are there any lesser-known poses that you find particularly interesting?
Oh, there are so many. But one that comes to mind is eagle pose. It's a challenging balance pose that really stretches your ankles and calves while strengthening your thighs and hips.
I've tried eagle pose, and I can definitely attest to its challenging nature. Is there anything else that makes it unique?
Eagle pose requires a lot of focus and coordination, which can help sharpen your mind. It also involves a sense of wrapping your arms and legs around yourself, which can be interpreted as a symbolic gesture of self-embrace and introspection.
That's an interesting perspective. It's like you're physically embodying a sense of self-acceptance.
Exactly. And another pose that's often overlooked is triangle pose. It's a great pose for stretching the hamstrings and inner thighs, as well as strengthening the legs and core. But it also opens up your chest and shoulders, which can be really beneficial for both your physical and emotional well-being.
I've always found triangle pose to be quite a challenge, but I can see how it would provide a really nice stretch.
It's a pose that requires patience and attention to alignment. But when you find that sweet spot, it's a beautiful expression of strength and openness.
It sounds like there's a pose for every need and every level.
Absolutely. The beauty of yoga is that it can be adapted to suit your individual needs and abilities. There are variations of poses for beginners and those with limitations. And there are always new poses to explore as you advance your practice.
That's so encouraging. So with all these amazing poses and benefits, how can our listeners start incorporating yoga into their lives?
There are so many ways to get started. You can join a local studio and take classes, follow along with online videos, or even practice at home with a book or app. The most important thing is to listen to your body, move at your own pace, and find a style that resonates with you.
Great advice. We've talked about the physical benefits of yoga, explored various poses, and even touched on how to get started. But it seems like there's so much more to yoga than just the physical aspect.
You're absolutely right. In the next segment, let's delve into those other benefits we mentioned earlier and explore how yoga can impact your overall well-being on a much deeper level.
We've spent this deep dive exploring how yoga strengthens and stretches our bodies.
Yeah.
But the 103 Cordova article also highlighted some benefits that go beyond just the purely physical stuff. I'm really curious to hear more about those.
Yeah, that's what makes yoga so fascinating. It's not just a workout, it's really a practice that integrates mind, body, and breath. And so many people experience a sense of calm and well-being after a yoga session, but I think it's really helpful to understand why that happens.
Okay, let's unpack that a bit. The article mentions stress and anxiety reduction.
Mhm.
And, I always feel more relaxed after yoga. But what's the science behind it?
So when we're stressed, our bodies go into this like fight or flight mode. Our heart rate increases, our breath becomes shallow, and our muscles tense up. It's that feeling of being on edge all the time.
Oh, I know that feeling all too well.
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels like my default setting.
Right. But yoga, on the other hand, helps shift us into rest and digest mode. You know, those deep breathing exercises, the mindful movement, and those calming poses all help to slow down the heart rate, ease muscle tension, and bring a sense of calm to the nervous system.
So it's like a counterbalance to that stress response
Mhm.
that we experience all too often these days.
Exactly. And it's not just a temporary fix either. With consistent practice, yoga can actually help us become more resilient to stress, so we're less reactive and better equipped to handle those everyday challenges.
That's really empowering. It's not just about feeling good in the moment. It's about building that long-term resilience.
Right.
And speaking of feeling good, we can't forget about that mood boost that so many people experience after yoga. I always walk out of class feeling more cheerful and upbeat.
What's the secret ingredient there is those endorphins everyone's always talking about.
Endorphins definitely play a role. They're those natural mood boosters that our bodies release during exercise. But yoga also goes beyond that by helping to regulate other hormones and neurotransmitters that affect mood, like serotonin and dopamine.
It's amazing how something as simple as moving and breathing can have such a profound impact on our mental and emotional state.
It really highlights that mind-body connection. And it's not just about the chemical changes either. Yoga also encourages us to be more present and mindful, which can help reduce overthinking and worry. Yeah, that makes sense. It's like you're giving your mind a break from all the noise and chaos.
Exactly. And that mental clarity can then have a positive ripple effect on other areas of our lives.
Now, the article also mentioned improved sleep quality, which is something I think a lot of people struggle with these days. How does yoga help with that?
Well, we know that stress and anxiety can definitely interfere with sleep. So by calming the nervous system and promoting relaxation, yoga really sets the stage for better sleep. And certain poses, like legs up the wall pose or reclining butterfly pose, are particularly effective for promoting relaxation before bedtime.
Well, I'm going to have to try those tonight.
Oh.
I'm always looking for ways to wind down before bed.
And you might be surprised by how much a few minutes of gentle yoga can make a difference.
Now, one more benefit that I found really interesting was the potential impact on the immune system. How does yoga fit into that picture?
Well, chronic stress is a major immune system suppressor. So, by reducing stress levels, yoga helps to create a more balanced internal environment. And that allows the immune system to function more effectively.
So it's like giving our immune systems a much-needed boost.
Exactly. And some studies even suggest that yoga may enhance the activity of certain immune cells, making us more resilient to illness.
Wow, it seems like the benefits of yoga are truly far-reaching.
It really is a holistic practice that addresses so many aspects of well-being, from our physical health to our mental and emotional state, and even our immune function.
So if someone's listening to this and thinking, okay, I want to try yoga, what's the best way to get started?
The great thing about yoga is there's an entry point for everyone. Regardless of age, flexibility, or experience level, you can join a local studio, find online classes, or even start with a simple practice at home.
What advice would you give to someone who's brand new to yoga?
Listen to your body, don't push yourself too hard. And most importantly, have fun. Yoga is a journey of self-discovery, and there's no right or wrong way to do it.
I love that advice. And it seems like the key takeaway from this deep dive is that yoga is so much more than just physical exercise.
Exactly. It's a practice that can transform your life in some really profound ways. It's about cultivating a deeper connection with yourself, improving your physical health, finding balance and harmony in all aspects of your being,
Yeah.
and maybe even having a little fun along the way.
Beautifully said. It's been an incredible deep dive into the world of yoga. I hope our listeners feel inspired to explore this amazing practice and discover all the incredible benefits it has to offer.
I hope so too.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into yoga. We'll be back soon with another fascinating topic to explore. Until then, keep learning, keep growing, and keep diving deep.